welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon and I run a small crochet business called Case and Crochet. Thank you for clicking my video. Today is a market day, so it's just about 10:15. It's finally stopping raining, so yay, because it's an outdoor event. I just packed up my car, that's why I'm out of breath. And I'm going to a winery for a market. I did an event here last May and it was pretty good. So I'm hoping it's still a great day, even though it's been raining all morning. I don't know what clips I'll be able to get of my setup again, because it's like really wet out still, but I'll bring you along with me. Oh, I forgot to say, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I just reached 500 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for subscribing. If you haven't already, just take a moment, click subscribe, like this video, and come along with me for my first fall market of the season. All right, so we're well into the market. Hopefully I can use these clips because there's music playing, but it's been pretty slow. I've made 4 sales. The market's been open for almost like 2.5 hours. But there's more people coming. Live music is starting soon, so hopefully it'll pick up. But it's a nice day and it stopped raining, so I can't complain about that. I will check back in later if I'm able to. Well, another hour has gone by. It has picked up people-wise, but not sales-wise for me. And you're gonna have markets like that. So while I had a good event here back in May, it just doesn't seem like it's my day-to-day. That's okay, because next weekend I have another market, so hopefully that means I don't have to rush to make a ton of things for next week. There's probably about an hour left, so we'll see how things go. Maybe I'll do another check-in, and maybe the next time you see me I will be doing a market recap to tell you the couple of things that I did sell, and the things that I did, like, people loved, like they were so excited, so that's always nice. Yeah, see you in a little bit. Hello again. So I am just back from the market. Well, so it was a fall pop-up at a winery. I shared this earlier in my clip, but I attended a very similar event at this same venue back in May. It was a Mother's Day market, and it was great. I made over $500 over 4 hours. It was really good, lots of people shopping. Today, to start off, the weather wasn't great. It was like sprinkling and raining all morning, but by the time the event started at noon, the weather was totally fine. It was nice out, a little gloomy, but it was good. The amount of people there picked up around, it started at 12, really started picking up around 1:32, which makes sense because they had food there and they had live music at 3. There was a good amount of foot traffic, but people just weren't shopping. I don't know if they were just coming to drink wine and eat and listen to the music. I don't know what the crowd is normally like at this place. So yeah, I mean, it was nothing wrong with the venue. Oh, I will say, when I got there, so they had a wedding there the day before, so they had a really big tent, and she told me I could either be under that, or she pointed to one other area where I could use my pop-up. And I kind of preferred to use my pop-up. The big tent, it had all of the the side flaps down. It just kind of seemed secluded. So I started setting up over in the other area, and then literally one tent away from me, somebody else was setting up crochet stuff, which is fine, but I would say there was probably 15 or so vendors, and to have 2 crochet people with 15 vendors is kind of annoying. It's just like not fair to either of us. She told me that when they applied, they said that they had like homeware stuff, which was part of what they had, and they didn't say that they had crochet stuff when they applied, but it's neither here nor there. So I was like, asked her, I was like, listen, can I move to another spot? And she's like, well, there's no other spot with where you can have your tent. And I was like, can I just kind of like go? There was like a little area right before the entrance to the big tent. I was pushed back a little bit, but you know, maybe it wasn't the best spot, but I think it was my best option. I don't think that impacted my sales because it just didn't look like people were shopping in general. They would browse and then go get their drinks, sit down and listen to the music. So anyways, you're gonna have some good events, you're gonna have some not so good events. I don't think this was a terrible event, but I thought I would just give my immediate reflections. My sister-in-law came with her sister and my nephew, and her sister brought her daughter, so that was fun to see them. And then at the end, my husband came with my kids, which was really nice because he helped me pack up my car. So I will come back on here in just a little bit to go through what sold. I think what was interesting was like the reactions from people to a lot of things that I had, just because a lot of people weren't shopping. When people would like stop and talk about things, or when people bought things, they were like pointing at different things on my table. So like I could hear like what they were interested in. So I will come back on here. It's probably going to be tomorrow. Today's Sunday for me. I'm hoping to post this as a bonus video by Wednesday. And then I have another market next Sunday. So like I said, silver lining is I don't have to make a ton of stuff for that event. Just a few things I want to replenish. So yeah, if you've stuck with me this long, thanks. The thing that you're probably most looking forward to is what sold and for how much, and that will be coming at you next. Okay, so it's Tuesday, been a couple days. I need to give you the update on what sold during the market. Before I do that, I know I kind of like gave you like my post-market thoughts just before this. I had two other things that I forgot to share. One was, I think my biggest pet peeve for anyone at any market is when people walk by, walk up to whatever your booth and say, oh, everybody does that now. And you can probably see where I'm going. These two ladies were standing right in front of my booth. I could obviously hear them. They're like, oh, everybody does crochet now. I was like, well, geez. It was not honestly a kind comment in my opinion. However, that was balanced out by some other comments that say, oh, I've seen crochet before, but this stuff looks so unique. This looks so different. I love this. I love that. And that's what I try to focus on, is the positive. But I think because this was like a slower event, it just really grinded my gears, for lack of a better word. So that was a little annoying. I just thought I would add that. It's okay to get annoyed, but I also encourage you to focus on the positive. So I got that off my chest to you guys. And then I also shared the positive. So I'm going to continue focusing on that. Let's get into it. So this market was from 12 to 4. It probably stopped raining at 11:15. I got there to unload at like 10:45 and it was still sprinkling. But by the time it started, it had stopped raining, which is great. I made my first sale at 12:24, which is really when people started arriving, because probably people were like, oh, it's not raining anymore. Let's get out of the house. The person bought a Chloe cow, and I'll put pictures up here of what sold. And I'll also have all the patterns linked in the description. I sold that for 22. I really need to up my prices on those. I think I'm going to increase it to 24. And then she also bought the Caterpillar Book Buddy, which is the All From Jade Caterpillar that looks like the Very Hungry Caterpillar colors, and it comes with the book, and that was 25. That was, I believe, my biggest purchase, my biggest sale for the day at $47. My next sale was not until 1:05, so over a half an hour later. And I sold my Itty May the elephant. I sold the all gray one. It was to the sweetest person. She lost her baby, and elephants were his room decoration, and she was just like drawn to it, and she was actually gifting it to a friend, but she really wanted one for herself, but I only had one gray one. Maybe her mom, who said she was going to reach out and order one for her, will, but it was so sweet. So I sold that for $28. And then shortly after that, a little girl picked out one of my little small whales from All From Jade. I don't have a picture of those, but I'll link the free pattern below, and one of the mini chickens. That's a free pattern. I shared both of these in my last video. So those are $5 each. So that was a $10 sale. I'm looking down at my list that I scribbled. My next sale, so that was at 107. My next sale again wasn't until 2:18, so almost another hour later. I sold a small otter from Loops to Lovies. It was it was like a periwinkle blue one. I sell that for $25. That was really sweet. Someone bought it for her friend's son that she was shopping with. I was going to say something else, but now I can't remember. Anyways, I also have that as a book buddy with the I love you like no otter. And she was like, oh, we have that book already. This is perfect. So that was really sweet. And then my next sale was until 2:59. So about 45 minutes later. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I always bring stuff to crochet with me. I brought so much yarn. I forgot polyfill. So like I really couldn't make anything. The only thing I really could have made was the All From Jade caterpillars, but like I didn't have colors that would make sense for those. So like that was so annoying, is that like I couldn't really be productive. Anyways, at 2:59, I sold one of my Boo Boo Buddies from Brandon and Ray. I don't have a picture of that, but I'll link it below. I have her woodland animal pack. And from that, I kind of modded it and made it a duck one. So I sold the duck one. And then 30 minutes later, I sold one of my fawns from Hobbs and Stitches pattern. I love those. I sold that to my sister-in-law's sister. I sold that for $28. Then that was at 3:30, right? And the market closed at 4. Before that, I made 5 sales for 3.5 hours. And then starting at 3:30, I made 5 more sales. So like the last like little bit was really quick, but I still left shortly after 4, even though we could have stayed longer, because really people were just sitting and eating and drinking and listening to music. They like weren't shopping, and pretty much everybody was packing up because it was a slow day for everyone. Anyways, at 3:36, I sold another pocket, I think that was my first pocket Gosling. I sold for $5. A lot of kids were choosing between like the whales, all like the $5 items, right? Because the parents just want to appease them. And then I sold one of the Noodles, the cat, for $18. I love that pattern so much. I put them on like a top shelf and they were laying on their little paws, and I just think they look so cute. Then at 3:52, I sold a Mama May Minis cat that I made in the orange mystical yarn for $25. It was not one that I had out because I didn't really have as much table space as I normally do, because I moved locations because of the other crocheter that was there, and just to space us out some more. So the mom was asking if I had any cats. I had the Noodles cats, I had the Loaf cats, but she was looking for something bigger, and I had that one and she bought it. And then at 4:10, I sold 2 more of the All From Jade whales for $5 each. So that was another $10 purchase. And then finally at 4:18, I sold my Itty Gentry giraffe for $28 and another pocket Gosling for $5. So that was a $33 purchase. If you were keeping tabs, I sold a total of $219. In comparison, at this same location back in May for a Mother's Day market they had, I sold more than double that. But every day is not going to be your day. I just, I think people were there to get out of the house. They knew something was happening, and it had been raining a ton the day before. It rained that morning. It is what it is. Silver lining, I think I shared this, is that I have a market again on Sunday. now I don't have to do as much prep for that. And I can also focus on some of the custom orders that I have. So I made $219. The application fee was $25. My Square fees were $1.68. A lot of people paid in cash or Venmo, which was nice. So I made $192.32. I love to try to make around $100 an hour at a market. More is always better. This was less. You know, it happens. So this week, I'm going to try to post this video. Today's Tuesday, either today or tomorrow. I'm going to do another video of what I'm making this week for you guys. And then I have another market on Sunday. This is at a new venue, but my other market friend that makes really cute shirts and cups and stuff like that, she does a lot at this location. She's not going to be at this event, but I've heard really great things. They're having an apple and cheese festival. So I am going to be there on Sunday. My mom is coming from Florida. She's coming to visit and she's going to come with me. So that will be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also doing a fall festival at this same location in October. And I just got into another market at the end of November at like it's like a boat place. Like people park their boats there, but they sell boats and they have this big warehouse. So it's going to be indoors in their warehouse. And from the looks of last year's like Facebook event, like a lot of people were interested in attending. So I'm looking forward to that. That one has like a little bit of a higher fee for like a smaller space. It's $50 for an 8x8, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's not far away from me. So I've got a lot of markets coming up. This was my first fall one. I sold stuff. I made more than my booth fee back. I'm happy. It was a good day. And I didn't get wet and my stuff didn't get wet. All is good. I don't think there was a particular best seller. However, there were a lot of things that people looked at a lot I thought I would share about. The Silly Birds, that free pattern from the Friendly Red Fox. I'll link all these below. People love those. So my last market, the Maple chickens flew off the shelves. I didn't sell one this time and people didn't really comment on them. They liked the Silly Birds. I sat them on a ledge with their dangly legs hanging down. So a lot of people commented on those. A lot of people commented on the fawn and deer from Hobson Stitches pattern that I sold one from. The otters, people love the otters. They love the little paw pads on them. What else? The giraffes were talked about a lot. The Miles monkey from Neutral Knots, a lot of people love those. And then this time I hung up some stuff at the front of my booth. I hung some of my hanging plants, which people commented on a lot, and a hot air balloon from, oh my gosh, I forget her name. Cozy Crawly, something like that. I'll link it below. A lot of people commented on those, I think, because they were hanging. I think next time I'm going to hang them a little lower because some people were like, oh, I didn't even notice that, or something like that because somebody else in their group pointed it out to them. So there was lots of things commented about. The All From Jade caterpillars. Kids love those, and people loved when I told them that they were like a fidget and they can like twist and bend. So those got a lot of comments too. Like a lot of kids tried to convince their parents to buy them, but again, people weren't shopping. It's just what it is. Some things I didn't have that people asked about. I got asked about bunnies twice. So I'm going to try to make a bunny this week if I have time. And horses. Bunnies and horses, two things that I've made, but I don't have. So does that mean someone's going to ask about it at the next one? No. But I thought it was interesting. And it was interesting that two people asked about bunnies. So I actually have the body of an Oakham Marlowe creature. This could really be anyone at this point because it's just legs started, but this was going to be a bunny. So maybe this will be an easy thing that I can finish up and be able to bring with me. But yeah, I'm going to leave you here. I'm just blabbing and procrastinating on getting back to work. And let's see. Oh, if you haven't already, stop what you're doing. Stop on the stitch you're at. Remember your count. Like this video. Subscribe. Thank you for helping me reach 500 subscribers. I reached that and surpassed that since my last video when I asked you all to help me reach 500. So Now I think we're on the road to 1,000. So if you can pause what you're doing, like this video, subscribe, and comment below with the little caterpillar emoji, because people love the caterpillars, and I encourage you to make them because they are quick and fun, and I myself love doing the fidget with them. So that's all I have for you today. Stay tuned for another video coming on hopefully Saturday, my normal day, just updating on what I've made for this week, and then another market recap coming next week. And then I have a couple weeks off until my next one, which will be one of my biggest markets I've ever done. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.